The Giraffe Family Adventure. In the vast expanse of the African savannah, there lived a family of giraffes. The family consisted of a mother, a father, and 2 young calves. They lived in a small herd with other giraffes, and they spent their days wandering through the grasslands in search of food and water. The mother giraffe was the leader of the herd, and she always made sure her family was safe and well fed. The father giraffe was the tallest of them all, and he was always on the lookout for predators that might pose a threat to their family. The 2 calves were full of energy and loved to play, often getting into mischief as they explored their surroundings. One day, as the family was grazing on some tall trees, they heard the sound of hooves in the distance. The father giraffe immediately perked up and looked in the direction of the noise, ready to defend his family if necessary. But as the sound grew louder, they realized it was just another herd of giraffes, coming to join them. The family welcomed the newcomers with open arms, and soon they were all grazing together in harmony. The young calves ran around and played together, and the mothers exchanged stories about their experiences in the savannah. It was a beautiful sight to see, and the family of giraffes felt grateful to be a part of such a wonderful community. As the sun began to rise over the African savannah, the family of giraffes woke up from their slumber. Mama giraffe stretched her long neck and gazed out at the tall grasses in the distance. She knew that it was time for her family to start their journey to a new part of the savannah, where fresh leaves and tasty treats awaited them. Papa Giraffe led the way, using his long legs to stride confidently through the grasses. Mama Giraffe and their 2 young calves followed closely behind, their spots blending in with the patterns of the grass. They walked for hours, the sun beating down on their backs, until they reached a grove of trees by a cool, clear stream. As the family settled in to eat and rest, Mama Giraffe looked around at the other animals nearby. She saw a herd of antelopes grazing in the distance, and a group of elephants splashing in the water. But what caught her eye was a lone giraffe standing by a nearby tree, looking lonely and sad. Mama Giraffe knew how it felt to be alone, so she approached the other giraffe with a friendly smile. "Hello there, friend," she said. "I'm Mama Giraffe, and this is my family. What's your name?" The other giraffe looked up, surprised to see someone talking to him. "My name is Gerald," he said softly. Mama Giraffe introduced Gerald to her family, and they all sat together, sharing stories and enjoying the shade of the trees. Gerald was so grateful for the company that he decided to join the family on their journey to find new grazing grounds. And so, the family of giraffes grew by one, as they continued their journey across the savannah, sharing laughter, stories, and a sense of togetherness that made them all feel just a little bit less alone in the vast and beautiful wilderness. One day, as the family of giraffes was wandering through the savannah, they came across a group of zebras. The zebras were running around and kicking up dust, their black and white stripes a blur in the midday sun. The youngest giraffe was fascinated by the zebras and their playful antics. "Mama, can we play with the zebras?" the young giraffe asked, her big brown eyes sparkling with excitement. The mother giraffe smiled indulgently. "Of course, my dear," she said. "But be careful not to get too close. Zebras can be quite unpredictable." The young giraffe bounded over to the zebras, her long legs stretching out in front of her as she ran. The zebras stopped their games and watched her approach warily. But the young giraffe was undaunted. She nuzzled one of the zebras with her nose and they all started playing together, kicking up even more dust than before. The rest of the family watched from a distance, amused by the young giraffe's antics. As the sun began to set, the giraffes said goodbye to their zebra friends and continued on their way. But the young giraffe was already dreaming of their next adventure in the savannah. As the sun rose higher in the sky, the family of giraffes continued on their journey through the savannah. They came across a group of zebras grazing in a nearby field. The young giraffes were fascinated by the black and white stripes of the zebras and wanted to play with them. "Can we go play with the zebras, Mom?" asked the youngest giraffe. "Of course, but be careful not to startle them," warned their mother. The young giraffes approached the zebras, trying their best to blend in with the tall grass. At first, the zebras were wary of the giraffes, but soon they warmed up to them and the two groups started to play together. The giraffes played tag with the zebras, using their long necks to reach over the zebras' backs and tag them with their noses. The zebras were quick and nimble, but the giraffes' height gave them an advantage. After playing for a while, the giraffes and zebras lay down in the shade to rest. As they rested, the giraffes and zebras realized that they weren't so different after all, despite their contrasting stripes and spots. They were all just animals living in the same savannah, and they were happy to have made new friends. The family of giraffes continued on their journey, now with a new group of friends to play with. As they continued their journey, the family of giraffes came across a group of zebras grazing on the grass. The youngest giraffe, Gigi, had never seen zebras before and was fascinated by their unique black and white stripes. She nudged her mother, asking if they could go over and say hello. The mother giraffe, Grace, hesitated for a moment, knowing that zebras could be skittish around predators like them. But she also knew the importance of socializing and making friends in the savannah. So, she led her family over to the zebras and introduced themselves. At first, the zebras were a bit hesitant, but after some time, they began to warm up to the giraffes. They even invited them to graze alongside them, and Gigi was overjoyed to be able to spend time with her new zebra friends. As they all ate and chatted, the giraffes and zebras shared stories about their adventures in the savannah. The giraffes told the zebras about their long necks and how they could reach the highest leaves on the trees, while the zebras shared stories about their quick speed and how they could outrun most predators. The giraffes learned that even though they were different from the zebras, they still had much in common and could learn from each other. And Gigi learned that making new friends was always worth taking the risk. As the sun began to set, the giraffes said goodbye to their new friends and continued on their journey. Gigi couldn't help but feel grateful for the encounter with the zebras and looked forward to the next adventure that lay ahead for her family. The next morning, the family of giraffes woke up early to begin their journey. As they walked, they encountered a group of zebras grazing on the grass. The baby giraffe ran ahead to say hello, but the zebras looked at her strangely and snorted, "What a funny-looking creature you are." The baby giraffe felt embarrassed and wanted to run back to her family, but her mother reassured her, "Don't worry about what others say. You are special just the way you are." The baby giraffe smiled, feeling grateful for her mother's wise words. The family continued on their journey, encountering many other animals along the way. They saw elephants playing in the mud, heard the roar of lions in the distance, and even saw a pack of hyenas scavenging for food. As they walked, the baby giraffe asked her father, "Why are there so many different animals in the world?" Her father replied, "Each animal has a unique role to play in the circle of life. Some animals are herbivores, like us, and eat plants. Others are carnivores and hunt for their food. And some are scavengers and clean up after others." The baby giraffe thought about this and realized that every animal, big or small, played an important part in the ecosystem. As the sun began to set, the family found a quiet spot to rest for the night. The baby giraffe curled up next to her mother, feeling grateful for the love and protection of her family. She drifted off to sleep, dreaming of all the adventures still to come. As the sun began to set, the family of giraffes continued to make their way across the savannah, with the baby giraffe growing more and more tired by the minute. Just as they were about to settle down for the night, they heard a loud noise in the distance. It sounded like a group of animals were stampeding their way. The mother giraffe quickly gathered her family and led them to a nearby rocky outcropping, where they could hide from danger. As they watched, a herd of panicked wildebeests raced by, their thundering hooves shaking the ground. The giraffes waited until the wildebeests had passed before they ventured out again. But as they continued on their journey, they couldn't shake the feeling of unease that the stampede had left them with. They knew that the savannah was full of dangers, and they would have to be careful if they wanted to make it to their destination safely. One day, as the family of giraffes were out foraging for food, they stumbled upon a group of zebras who were playing a game of tag. The baby giraffe, who was always eager to make new friends, approached the group and asked if he could join in the game. At first, the zebras were hesitant. They had never played with a giraffe before and were worried that his long neck might give him an unfair advantage. But the baby giraffe promised to play fair, and the zebras eventually agreed to let him join in. The game was a lot of fun, and the baby giraffe quickly proved himself to be a worthy opponent. His long legs allowed him to run faster than any of the zebras, but he was careful not to use his height to cheat. After the game was over, the zebras invited the family of giraffes to join them for a picnic by the nearby river. The giraffes accepted the invitation, and the two groups spent the afternoon chatting and enjoying each other's company. As the sun began to set, the family of giraffes thanked the zebras for their hospitality and began to make their way back to their home in the savannah. The baby giraffe was thrilled to have made new friends and couldn't wait to see his zebra friends again. As they walked, the mother giraffe turned to her children and said, "Remember, it's not just about how tall we are, but also how we treat others. If we treat others with kindness and respect, we will always be surrounded by friends." The family of giraffes nodded in agreement and continued their journey home, grateful for the new friends they had made. After their incredible journey, the family of giraffes finally reached their destination. They were happy to be home, but they knew that their adventure had changed them forever. They had learned valuable lessons about family, perseverance, and the importance of trying new things. As the sun began to set over the savannah, the giraffes gathered together, their long necks stretching towards the sky. They watched as the sky turned orange and pink, a beautiful sight that they had missed during their journey. With a contented sigh, Mama Giraffe nuzzled her babies and whispered, "Remember this moment, my darlings. Remember the beauty of this world and the love that we share as a family." And with that, the family of giraffes settled down for the night, grateful for the amazing adventure that had brought them even closer together. Now it's time for you to go on your own adventure, my little ones. Close your eyes and imagine all the amazing places you can go and the wonderful things you can see. Remember the lessons you've learned from the family of giraffes and never stop exploring. Have a creative and adventurous good night.